know this?
Yeah, you quit being such a pussy and get your dick hard.
Yeah,
We'll talk
Jake.
after. We'll talk after.
And on that note, let's take our second and final break, and we'll get to the big question.
This is James Deen, the face of the
That's right.
Another question is, do you find that there's any disadvantages to the business?
I mean, I don't, but I also have like I said, I have a bizarre outlook on everything. I mean, it seems like there's very few people in porn. I mean, there's a handful, but there's very few people in porn that actually aspired to do porn. Like, when I grow up, I want to be in porn. I don't know why I just explained what the word aspiring meant to you. I assume everyone here knows what it means. But
Traci,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, kind of on the fence with Traci.
But yeah, so because of that, I don't really see any disadvantages. And honestly, the closest thing to a disadvantage is really just, like I said, all the free porn on the internet. And
which doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist. And the economic crisis and stuff. When people have the option of buying food, paying their rent, or jerking off, they can always jerk off in the shower with their eyes closed. They don't need porn. So I think those are the only disadvantages. Really, is the fact that and as I think everything at the moment is falling on hard times, unless you're like a repo man, then
or a comic.
Yeah, we're rolling.
We're doing great.
Rolling in the dough.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's just...
You do have more microphones than I
do. Some of them a little more valuable and work a little better than others.
This, I think I know the answer to this, but were you ever worried about the stigma of being in porn, or do people ever criticize you or attack you or anything like that?
I've never really, I hate being one of the people that say these words because I always make fun of people that say these, but I don't care what other people think. Mm-hmm. And usually the second I hear somebody say that, I immediately start to make fun of them and prove that they do care what other people think. Because usually if you call people on that, they try to justify themselves, and then you say, see, you obviously care what people think because you were justifying yourself to explain blah, 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 blah. But like I said, weird things annoy me that don't annoy anybody else in the world, but when people say that, it bothers the crap out of me. But anyway, because I don't know, it never even entered my mind. When I started doing porn, the last thing in my head was, what are people going to think? It was, or how is it going to affect anything? It was like, hey, I'm going to go do what I want to do and have a lot of fun, and it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, that's awesome. And I think a lot of people that don't necessarily know that much about porn assume that everyone got in there because they, not out of their first choice. You know what I mean? Just sort of fell into it or something like that.
I mean, there's a lot of people that wanted to be actors and then they couldn't make it, or they, or they needed money or things like that, or, they, thought, or they want to do something else and they think it'll be fun, or they paying for their bills in school or something like that. But there are...
Yeah, well, this is not a professional studio. There's people talking outside. We apologize.
but there are I'm banging on your door.
Yeah.
But there are
coming for you.
Oh, yeah. But there are a good amount of people in porn that actually really. I mean, whether they originally intended to be there or isn't, like Evan Stone, for instance. Evan Stone, I can almost guarantee he's the guy that looks like Fabio. For everyone that doesn't know, who now has cut his hair and does not look like Fabio anymore. But he was.
Well, what he does, Aziz Ansari referred to him as Kevin Sorbo. A.k.a. Hercules, which I think is actually even more accurate.
That guy, by the way, is hilarious.
Oh.
Yeah.
Kevin Sorbo is funny?
Yes. So good. Haven't you seen his stand-up?
No, since when? Oh, God. I feel like there's wool being pulled over my eyes right now.
Do you feel left out, Eli?
Uh-oh. I like this feeling for him.
Yeah, I really like this
feeling. This is a good sensation.
Oh, is this what Traci
Would you like to Photoshop your face on some boobs?
Yeah.
Would that make you feel better?
Oh, so now you know what
he's going to try to get the Traci jab in. Watch it. That's what's happening.
And a Jake jab, too.
And the moment's passed.
No, not at all.
So
this is what it feels like to be Traci and Jake. Nailed it.
Oh, God. So sad. Everyone's going to know how sad you are on this podcast. But anyway, okay. I really like that answer because I think it's really important for people to know that this is a career people can choose. It's capitalism. Yeah. It's fine. Yeah. It's totally fine. People want to do it, and it's fine. They're not doing it because they're damaged anyway. It's very frustrating to me.
I mean, as much as I hate to say it, there are some people that are, but for the majority, I mean, nowadays, especially with the society the way it is, and God, I mean, Jenna Jameson has done some bizarre things. I'm not here to say she's a saint, but she has definitely opened a lot of doors to a lot of to the fact that it's okay to go do porn, and so basically, we have girls get in the business and I want to be the next Jenna Jameson, and that's it's impossible. I would love to be the next Rocco Siffredi, but it's not going to fucking happen. There's only one Rocco Siffredi. There's only one Jenna Jameson.
Well, they also came at a period when they were defining something.
Exactly why there's only going to be one.
Right, and there's no wheel to be reinvented. I mean, especially now with the internet, even if now obviously we're not talking about free porn here, we're talking about pay sites. And whatnot.
I mean, there's
but all that stuff. It's just not what it used to be because Jenna Jameson came from that era of VHSs going to buy them. Online was
there were a lot of factors that went in. And but I mean, the fact of the matter is because of people like Jenna Jameson and Bloodhound Gang writing the Chasey Lane song and just little things like that that basically porn has really become more socially acceptable to a point where it's not I think maybe before I was in porn, maybe in the olden days that the days of yore.
That's better.
I wasn't there, so I don't know. But maybe that's where that stigma of everyone being coked up and mentally damaged and having all sorts of problems and stuff like that. I mean, I think there's definitely but I think everyone's crazy, as I'm sure you guys can say. Every comic is insane.
Absolutely. I mean, in any
every
industry,
hairdresser I know is insane.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it's any different.
Every person in the military is insane, and everyone just got really quiet. But it's like everybody. I think everybody in the world is insane. Just different types of insanities are drawn to different types of things, and so I think all the crazy people in porn and all the crazy comics and all the crazy hairdressers, all the crazy military people, they're drawn to that field because their insanities, are
right.
Go ahead. Traci.
Is there a lot of drugs on set?
Actually, no.
No.
The majority of sets are really strict about it. And
Really?
actually, you'd be surprised over what sets, I'm obviously not going to say, but there's very few sets. And, there's some it really comes down to, the director's choice.
Yeah.
There's some directors that, if a girl's going to smoke weed, they're like, okay, whatever, you can smoke some weed. And there's some directors that if you even mention the fact that you have weed in your purse, they'll kick you off set.
Really?
Yeah. And, there's some directors that, if a girl, is like, oh, I'm doing an anal scene, I'm going to take a Vicodin, and get the fuck off my set.
Wow.
And if a girl's like, oh, I'm going to do an anal scene, oh, do you want a Vicodin? Is there anything I can do to help? But for the most part, it's pretty, it's pretty much as if you worked when I worked at Starbucks, we used to get drunk all the time at Starbucks. And,
yeah, it's exactly like a real movie and just not a real movie, but feature films, in Hollywood, people get stoned all the time. I mean,
it's not really... It's director's choice. It really is what it is. And there's very few sets that actually... I mean, I've been on very few sets where it's just booze is there and there's, people actually doing drugs or, smoking weed and stuff like that. Usually it's, a personal thing that, somebody's like, oh, I got my medical marijuana card. I like to get stoned, and so I'm going to go outside and smoke a bowl by myself or, or something like that. It's really not a very drug-friendly business because it's so... you're dealing with such a gentle, dynamic there of basically, yes or no, and if where when it comes to sex, it's like if a girl's really fucked up looking on camera,
I would not like that at all.
Yeah.
Can I just ask?
And also, you don't want her coming back and be like, I was really fucked up and I did this scene. So there's a lot of directors that are just
I did hair for porn once.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that actually, but I just one other question.
Just later.
Familiar.
Yeah, right.
I just so do you take any kind of... You don't take a pill or do any of those injections
or
anything?
But I'm also 24.
Right.
So
apparently there are guys your age though. I'm told there's this there's this needle they stick into their vein.
Yeah. Why would you put a needle?
We've been hearing over and over that it's common. It's a common
What does it
thing.
do?
It's like this thing that just gets your dick
It's for
hard
paraplegics.
For 4 hours.
It's for paraplegics. Basically, so for as Tyler Knight explained to us, it's for paraplegics. So you inject it in your dick, so you can basically have sex with your wife or your girlfriend. But it's for people who are paralyzed, and so it's injecting a needle straight into the penis.
Oh
right before
my
your scene,
God.
So it gets permanently hard
for 4 hours.
It's a needle into an open wound.
Yeah.
It's crazy, and it's absolutely
Into an open wound. Why?
When
you basically are now having sex with a open wound on your penis
because the needle. Yeah, and so it's crazy, and it's just funny because you're 24 and you're young. It's not going to be a problem at all.
I want to save the blue pills for the time when I actually need them because I want to be doing. I mean, if it was up to me, I would be doing porn until the day I die, and if I can be doing 85, taking a blue pill and doing a scene, that'd be awesome.
That answered the other question I wanted to ask. Just where you obviously want to do this long term.
I honestly, when I first started, I was like, I'm going to perform for 3 years. I'm going to build up a name. I'm going to be like James Deen. I'm going to start my own company. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go behind the camera. I'm going to do all this stuff. I started shooting. My first thing I directed was when I was 19. It was a year after I did porn. The second I finished it, I was like, fuck this. I want to perform and do nothing other than perform. Performing is so much easier and more fun and just awesome. Directing is work. like the work part of it is work.
Oh yeah.
So right now I have like my job, which is like the Burn the Angel stuff and my own
Yeah.
production company and like that stuff, and that's like my job. And then I do like performing. That's like my hobby. And all in
Right.
all, I
Yeah.
end up with a good solid 12 hours a day